What's good? Another trade recap. Um, just took this long on NQ. Beautiful trade. Uh, Painfully obvious bias today. I was extremely bullish going into the day. So you can see this beautiful market maker buy model has just played out. We've got the internal manipulation with the turtle soup. This is exactly what I wanted to see at market open. I just waited for that move lower and then took that trade. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. So, like I said, going into today, I was bullish. Now, why am I bullish? So, what did we do yesterday? We had a historical dump once again. I mean, not actually, but it was a very large dump. This daily candle ended up being 1,600 points on NQ. And what we end up doing, though, is sweeping out all of these internal lows here. We come into these daily fair value gaps here, and then this is also a weekly fair value gap that I had marked out a while ago. So notice NQ yesterday sells all the way off. We sweep out the weekly intermediate low. We are inside the weekly imbalance. Higher time frames are extremely bullish. Then obviously on the daily, we swept out this daily intermediate low. And then what am I looking at? Like after that low gets taken, what am I always paying attention to? I'm paying attention to the reaction of whatever key level gets taken out. So what is the reaction of the market taking out this daily low? Displacement higher, running through bearish imbalances here, rebalancing lower in the overnight session. What do we do when we rebalance? We come back to OTE of this price leg. As you can see, the market comes below equilibrium in discount. We tap the 30-minute fair value gap, and it's holding beautifully. So as you can see, the 30-minute here, pretty obvious. Like this is the most obvious bullish imbalance in this entire price leg. Very clean 30-minute fair value gap. Market taps into it. What else do we have here? Then this, like as soon as I got, guys, as soon as I got like on the 30-minute and the 15-minute this morning, I was immediately bullish because what do we have right here? This is such an obvious buy model. We have sell side of the curve here. This is a market maker buy model here because this will get complete. Maybe not today, but at some point within the near future, this will be buy side of the curve. This will be an internal market maker buy model. So, but what do I notice here? We are selling off, rebalancing to this key level, 30-minute fair value gap, after sell side's been taken on the bigger time frame. We've displaced through this 1 hour bearish imbalance. This right here is what sold me. Internal manipulation, so the initial low that gets put in inside of the 30-minute fair value gap gets swept. Now, what is the reaction of that? Heavy displacement higher, 30-minute change in the state of delivery here, 30-minute IFVG, and then as soon as I see this, I zoom into the 15-minute. Like this was like 10 minutes, like 20 minutes ago, probably right before market open. I zoom into the 15-minute, and what do I see? I see this 15-minute bullish imbalance left from CPI, and I said, okay, it's very obvious to me that this is a buy model with the internal manipulation coming from the 30-minute, coming from the higher time frame, bullish imbalances with displacement higher, change in the state of delivery. This is obviously a buy model. I want to see this 15-minute fair value gap hold bullish going into market open. So I then zoom into the 1 minute, about like right here, a few minutes before the market opened, and I said, okay, obviously I'm not going to take a long until this internal low gets taken. So what am I doing? I'm waiting for manipulation. The market opens, and we end up getting a big move higher in a second. And basically right here, notice, do we ever sweep out the low? No. So I'm sure there ended up being like a bullish 30-second fair value gap right here. I'm sure so many people took longs inside of here, not realizing that we did not have manipulation. So when I see this 100-point plus candle print out and we're all the way right here, I'm like, I do not care if this goes to the high. Like I am bullish, but I will not touch longs until this low gets taken because there's no manipulation. This would be a low probability move. Where this had this have played out, this would not be a good trade in my opinion. So I don't touch anything. Like I said, a 30-second fair value gap ends up opening up bullish right here. Once again, I'm sure so many people took this, and it's not a good trade. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no manipulation. There was no SMT with ES. This is not a good trade. You should not be taking this 30-second. You need to wait for manipulation. So what ends up happening is the market comes down, and what do we do when we're coming down? We tap equilibrium of the price leg. So if we go to this, remember the initial displacement leg here that gives us the change in the state, gives us the higher time frame inverse, coming from the 30-minute, coming from OTE of this price leg here. That move, what do? We rebalance to a little bit below equilibrium. As you can see, market comes right below equilibrium, and then what am I waiting for? At this point in time, like what I was saying to myself, basically, when I'm looking at this sell-off on the 1 minute, is I said, I'm extremely bullish right now. I do not want to see us go any lower. Like I do not, if this is truly bullish, and we're going to go here, which I obviously thought that we were, I do not want to see us go any lower here because there's no reason to. We've already done what we needed to do. We've swept out the 1 minute intermediate low from the fair value gap left from CPI. We've had internal manipulation with turtle soup. We're inside of the 15-minute and we're inside of equilibrium of the displacement leg that gives us the higher time frame change in state. So I recognize right here there's no reason for price to go lower if we are bullish. So I'm sure a lot of people would have ended up fading this long that I took here because it was so quick and there was no 30-second inverse, there was no 1 minute inverse. But like I said, I was extremely confident in a bullish bias. And like I said, right here, when we're selling off, I said we should not go any lower here. There's genuinely no reason for price to move lower. If we start to get bought up, I'm immediately entering along. And what do I see? I see these 15-second inverse for value gaps. And after this candle closes, I'm like, yeah, we're absolutely bullish here. I click buy on this next candle. I put my stop at the low of this 15-second imbalance, and I'm simply targeting buy side liquidity. As you can see, that's where I took my position off, and this is absolutely beautiful trade here. And this is exactly what I expect. Like, I mean, this is, guys, this is such good price action. We get that initial move here. Beautiful trade plays out. We then get the rebalance to the bullish imbalance that's in OTE of this price leg, and we're continuing higher. Why are we continuing higher? Because what did I say at the beginning of the recap? This is a buy model right here. There's absolutely no reason for price to go here. There's certainly no reason for price to go here. So, like you expect this to happen. You expect after the initial move plays out, this equals displacement on the 5 minute, right? The market displaces higher on the 5 minute. Next 5 minute candle opens up, sells off, rebalances to the 5 minute order block, and now we're just continuing higher. And we're also holding the 1 minute fair value gap. Once again, there's no reason for price to go lower here. You should not be shorting. Like this, honestly, maybe I end up being completely wrong and the market ends up dumping because we have had crazy price action lately, but this should be the low of day. I don't even think we should come down here again today because why would we? Look at the market. This is extremely bullish. Like I said at the beginning of the recap, internal manipulation, displacement higher, change in the state, inverse for value gap coming from the 30-minute. The bigger time frames are coming from filling these fair value gaps here, sweeping out all of these daily intermediate lows, leaving a huge rejection block, a literal almost 1,000 point rejection block on the daily time frame. Like I said, the reaction of that is yesterday we get bought up through this 1 hour bearish imbalance, inverting it. Then we slowly rebalance, which is exactly what you want to see. You want to see the market slowly sell off, generating buy side liquidity into a key level. Internal manipulation, low gets swept, displacement higher, change in the state, pull back to the 15-minute for value gap at market open. Like I said, I was not going to touch this because there was no trade here. I wait for the manipulation. As soon as I see the low get taken, I mark this out as turtle soup. And at this point in time, when this 1 minute candle closed down here, I said if we are bullish, we should not go any lower. I want to see, or sorry, if we are bearish, we should not go any lower. I want to see the market bottom out right here, and I want to see us start to get bought up. I zoom into the 30-second. I see this candle start to print higher. Go to the 15-second. See these inverse for value gaps here. Strong reaction. I don't need to wait for a 1 minute inverse here. I don't need to wait for the highest time frame inversion on this price leg because it's dead obvious to me that this is a buy model and the market is moving higher. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're just ripping up. This is a beautiful price action today. But yeah, that puts what's the balance? Okay, $8. I need like $8 to pass these accounts. But yeah, it's 2 for 2 now on the week. So great way to start the week. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next recap.